we've already expended, it feels like, a whole bunch of energy, and we're about four teams in so far out of 30. And we're up to the Detroit Pistons here, and we picking obviously the most iconic images in our opinion of this franchise. And I've selected one from NBA draft day. What is it? 2003. NBA draft, yeah. And it was the year of LeBron. It was the year of LeBron, and obviously Carmelo came into the league, and D Wade and Chris Bosh and Darko Milicic. And the Pistons decided that they would go with this European kid that was like 17, I think, at that point, right? He was 17, he was 7 foot. He was supposed to be a next Dirk, even though no one really knew Dirk was going to be who he was going to be at that point. And they took him with the second pick. And I think this is a huge what if moment. And many franchises are faced with these what if moments, absolutely. But this one here for the Pistons, you could make a case here that the Pistons, if they had taken Carmelo, in fact, if they had taken anyone but Darko, okay, because obviously Carmelo was probably consensus second best player proven on the board at that point, okay, and it was obviously, I think, the best college player of the year as well at that for that draft, that the Pistons probably would have had a dynasty, and their window to contend would have been another story. There'll be no Carmelo in Denver. Yeah, there potentially be no Carmelo in New York. Yeah, it would be a whole nother story where the Pistons would have had a sustained amount of success around that period where they won that championship, and they could have continued to win. But with, I think, this single image, to me, sort of shows like maybe it's the opposite way of some of the other images selected, because this is like a total fail. Yeah, this is probably, and you can make an argument here that this is probably one of the biggest fails in NBA history, short of, I don't know, I was going to say Greg Oden, but that was an injury. You could say player like, I don't know, Michael Candy, but, the Clippers sucked anyway. Yeah, but the Pistons here were a championship team, and they could have really grabbed a player because they had such a high pick that would have kept that window open for another decade. All right. But that wasn't the pick they went with. But hey, look, that's what I've gone with. You've clearly gone with another dramatic image here. Break this down.
Well, what I'll do, I'll jump on yours a tiny bit more because I think it's important. That draft, when you look at the top 20 picks, you're talking about rotational guys. Like Darko being the second pick was almost the blemish in the top 10, 15. So, they went for potential. I think they went for potential because they were competing for championships. That was their arrogance, so to speak. They felt we can develop this guy for 5 years and we hope that we have the better player than everyone. And I think one thing that people don't talk about a lot, that Darko incident really made it difficult for international players moving forward. And the easiest example I can think of is Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic was a EuroLeague MVP at 17, a different tier to most international players that come through. And teams still hesitated to pick him. In fact, if I'm doing my math correctly, it's not even just two teams that passed on him, it's three, because Atlanta selected him to trade him to Dallas. So it people are terrified of the international prospects purely because they don't want to repeat a Darko incident. So very good pick. Very good pick. I went in another direction. First off, I need to preface this to, I feel bad that the Detroit Bad Boys don't even get a mention in this, but we're going for iconic moments. We're going for historic moments. You went for the biggest what if probably in draft history, and I went for the day that the NBA really changed. And I went with Malice in the Palace. So, it's a close game, two top Eastern Conference teams. Ron Artest goes for a hard foul on Ben Wallace. Ben Wallace absolutely annihilates him with the shove of the century. And it's the events that follow where a fan throws a cup onto Ron Artest. Ron Artest goes into the stands, and then basically all mayhem breaks loose. So I picked this because obviously it led to the largest suspensions that we've ever seen. It pretty much rewrote the Indiana Pacers' history there, and you look at, the what ifs that come out of that, and that's kind of huge. You also look at the fact that the NBA was different from that point onwards. Alcohol no longer served, security always on, high alert, and the dress code changing in the season later. So the ramifications of this one moment is actually a lot higher than I think people realize.
I Are you telling me there's no alcohol served at the NBA nowadays? I don't know.
No, no, no.
Is
So I
is
believe
that
it's got to do with the bottles. So they give those cups. So
okay?
I'll clarify it a bit more. They used to
Yep.
probably just give people cans, and that's what ended up getting tossed. So now they give you the cups, and the plastic cups so that they're less dangerous and there's no chance of breakage or anything.
I'd imagine there are many sports codes actually that over time instituted that because of that same reality of unruly
No doubt.
fans
Yeah.
and the danger posed with cans or glassware or obviously like that. That now everyone gets served in plastic cups, right? So, hey, look, I
This is Two Guys with Spare Time. I'm Faz, this is Nick. You're probably a basketball fan like us, so hopefully you can throw us an assist and giving our video a like and subscribing to our channel.
And if you got thoughts, feelings, or even some suggestions, please put them down in the comment section below. And thank you for using your spare time to watch us in our spare time.